Welcome back to the CodeMaven screencast. My name is Gabor Sabon. We are going to talk about getting help for Git and just next chapter about Git. So back to the slides. My reminder, here are the slides. I just opened the slides again. So you'll see there is this entry about getting help. And here you can have a few commands. So if you're on Windows, then as a reminder, we just click on Start and start to type Git and bash. And that's where we are going, what we are going to use. So I enlarge this screen, this window. For Linux and Mac users, you just open a terminal and you're in the same prompt. And then you can type in git help, and it will give you the basic help. It will list you a couple of the commands, the most common commands of Git, various flags that you can provide. The one that we have already seen, so git ---- version is showing the current version of Git that you're using. You can actually ask git help, so it will provide you help on the help, and as you can see, it automatically opens your browser. Actually, the location of your document is on your own computer, so there is an HTML version of the documentation, which makes it nicer, looks better, and so on. And then you can here scroll down and read all the information about how to use git help. In general, you can either use git help command, so let's say git help commit, and then it will open the documentation for the git commit. And again, this is on your own computer, so this is still without using the internet. That's one thing. You could also do the same thing. So we did the git help commit. We could also say git the same git command and then ---- help. So you can say git commit ---- help, and it will bring you to the same page basically. It's just two ways to do the same. In addition, this is, I mentioned, git help. You can get git help all, which lists all the commands. So let's see it, git help all. That's supposed to list all the commands, and then with space you can scroll down and get even more. And this pressing Q actually allows you to leave this the list. Doesn't matter where. So I just with space I page down one, and then here I press Q again, and then that's it. We'll have the listing, which is using actually, I think it's using less or more. Either of them, one of the tools, Linux tools that will allow you to page down and up in the, in your file. Actually, you can check it, because it's if you press space, it goes down, and then they can use the arrow, for example, to, I think, page up to go up. And I don't know if you have heard, but there was a really nice sound because I reached the top of the listing. Anyway, so that's how you get the listing. And then GitHub tutorial, that will give you some Git tutorial. Let's see, what does that do? Git help tutorial. So it opens just another page, which is gives you a Git tutorial, and then you can read that. And here it starts with the configuration, as just we did, and all kind of other things that you need for a tutorial. An alternative way to get help for Git is, of course, just typing in your search. So for example, you git commit you're looking for. So I just typed in, and for some reason it's using Bing now, of course, because I'm using the Microsoft whatever is this day Explorer, or whatever is the new version of the Microsoft browser, and I'm using that. In any case, it shows me the documentations. As you can see, git scm.com. So this is the home of Git, as I mentioned. Inside there is the list of documentation, git commit, and then it will, if I click on it, it will bring you another version of the documentation of git commit, which is supposed to be the same as you have on your computer, except of the differences that might be because of the version. So this is, I guess, is the most recent version of Git and the documentation that goes with it. And you on your computer might have an older version, especially if you've installed a while ago. So not everything might be exactly the same, but that's basically how you can get help, you can get just the basic documentation of Git through the internet, and then you can do it from anywhere. So that's it about GitHub. And of course, you can just generally ask questions, and using either Google or Bing. Now you can see we can use Bing to search for stuff, and that will help you get going with Git. And yes, one more point here. So I think I mentioned in one of the earlier, one of the other videos that we are using the command line version of Git and not some kind of a GUI. And why do we do that? So here's the reason: because on the command line, so on the internet, most of the help will come for the names of the commands on the command line version of Git, and not one of the GUIs. And so in order to understand Git, it's much better to use the command line version. And then if you really would like to prefer to use one of the GUI versions or one of the plugins, then you can do that. But then you already come with the understanding of what Git is and what are the commands. So thank you for watching, and keep going with Git. And